going to make sure Ben opened up the microphone. Adrian, can you unmute yourself?
Yep, I am unmuted.
Go ahead and talk for us, Adrian.
I am talking. Check.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all we needed. Appreciate it.
The regular meeting for the Aurora City Council for Monday, May 23rd, 2022 is called to order. Let's first do an announcement of the call-in line information.
Good evening. City Council welcomes feedback from the public on matters both appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you are in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and the agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
Bienvenidos a todas las personas hispanohablantes a esta reunión. Esta es la para ser escuchados y las personas que quisieran participar. El Consejo Municipal invita a todos los residentes a dar su opinión en estas reuniones municipales, tanto en los asuntos que aparecen en la agenda, la sección de invitación a público a ser escuchado. Por favor, llamar al 877-820-7831 y al conectarse marque la clave 54610 y el signo de numeral para tomar su lugar en la fila para ser escuchado. La operadora tomará su nombre y el asunto de la agenda al cual usted quiere comentar y lo pondrá en espera a su turno. Antes de ser llamado por el secretario municipal, las personas que llamen necesitarán registrarse en la sección invitación a público a ser escuchado o elegir comentar en un tema específico de la agenda. Dependiendo del número de llamadas, puede ser que tome un tiempo conectarlo a una operadora. Por favor, tenga paciencia y manténgase conectado a la línea. Muchísimas gracias.
Will clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bergen, Councilmember Coombs,
Present.
Councilmember Gardner,
Here.
Councilmember Jurenski,
Here.
Councilmember Lawson,
Here.
Councilmember Marcano, Councilmember Medina,
Here.
Councilmember Murillo,
Present.
Councilmember Sundberg,
Here.
and Councilmember Zvonek.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Invocation. Please assume an attitude of prayer. O Lord our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you would look upon this particular gathering tonight and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable industry, sound education, and good government. Unite the community together. Even though we come from different backgrounds, we pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give City Council wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the health of this community. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Executive session update. During the executive session, council members discussed labor negotiations. Approval of the minutes for May 9th, 2022. Motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by Councilmember Jurenski to approve the minutes of May 9th, 2022. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the minutes for May 9th, 2022.
Mayor Kaufman,
Yes.
Councilmember Marcano,
Yes.
and Councilmember Murillo.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve the minutes for May 9th, 2022.
Item number 7A, swearing in of the court administrator. I believe we have to approve the contract first, am I correct?
And Mayor, yes, staff is going to come down and give an overview of the contract for
Well.
approval. So we will approve the contract first, and the swearing in will happen after.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm going to provide an overview of the agreement made between the City of Aurora and Candace Atkinson, the court administrator. The agreement was negotiated between Scott Riley from Affion Public, he was the executive recruiter, and Ms. Atkinson. The agreement document is included as in a document with the agenda. It is similar in structure as the other council appointees. It also includes duties, authority, compensation, benefits, paid time off, and other terms. Ms. Skaggs and myself are here available if you have any questions.
Questions of staff? Do we have to vote on this, on the contract? Do it by motion. Is there any objection to approving the contract? Seeing none, therefore the contract is approved.
Mayor, I'm sorry, Dan, do we need a motion and a second and vote on this?
Do we?
It'd be preferred.
Very well. Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
move to appoint, to approve the contract for Candace Atkinson.
It's been moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by?
Sundberg.
Seconded by Councilmember Sundberg to approve the contract. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the approval of the contract.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano,
Yes.
Councilmember Murillo.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve the contract.
Swearing in by our presiding judge, Sean Day.
Testing, looks like we're on. Mayor, members of council, I think this is actually our first in-person swearing-in ceremony since February of 2020. So it's a big, important swearing-in ceremony. So Ms. Atkinson, if you'll please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Candace Atkinson, having been duly appointed as court administrator for the City of Aurora, Colorado, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially administer the affairs of such office in accordance with the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Colorado, and the charter and ordinances of the City of Aurora, to the best of my judgment and ability. So help me God. Congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations. I think I'm supposed to pound my gavel down. I think that's a demonstration, but it's in order. We'll make an exception. Okay. Animal services. We have showcasing one animal every council meeting. We're back to doing that, and I think Councilwoman Jurinski's already spoken for this this dog here. So.
Taking them for
Oh, great. So can you tell us about, what's his name?
His name is Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
He's a 4-year-old Great Pyrenees that came
Wow.
into us as a stray.
Oh, look at that.
He did have a microchip, but unfortunately we were unable to find his owners.
Oh,
But we did find out that he came all the way from Alabama.
oh, wow.
During his medical evaluation, he was diagnosed with heartworms, and he has been undergoing treatment with us ever since. Heartworms are caused by mosquitoes, and even though they can be life-threatening without treatment, it is completely curable and even preventable. Because the treatment can take several months, and requires low stress and low activity. Yogi will be moving on to a Great Pyrenees rescue, where he'll continue his treatment and eventually go up for adoption, and hopefully learn some better manners. If you haven't had a chance to meet him, he's very friendly. Please feel free to give him a pet. You'll probably make his day.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what is our website for animal services?
Our website is auroraanimalshelter.org.
Oh, right.
And you should be able to find that also from the city page, I believe.
Right. Mayor's up here. No, the dog is a lot more fun. Well, I want to read a proclamation for Memorial Day coming up, and we have an extraordinary memorial to honor all the fallen in the state of Colorado at the Colorado Freedom Memorial. Is there any supposed to receive that? Oh, please come up. Thank you. Oh, I'm being surrounded here. Oh, great, thank you. Okay. Whereas on May 11th, 1950, Congress approved by a joint resolution that the President issue a proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe each Memorial Day as a day of prayer for immutable peace, and whereas the President has declared that a period on that day be designated when the people of the United States might unite in prayer and recognize in their own way the national moment and remembrance, and whereas our nation endures and flourishes because of the piety of our servicemen and women who, from years and generations, have been accountable for our national security for over 2 centuries, and whereas the city of Aurora is home to the Colorado Freedom Memorial dedicated to honoring all Colorado veterans killed in action since statehood, and whereas the city of Aurora would like to enhance the observation of Memorial Day as a time to remember and appreciate Aurora's military service members for their devotion to duty, which has sustained our country and kept safe our heritage as a free people in a free society. Now, therefore, I, Mike Coffin, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim May 30th, 2022 at 3 p.m. local time as Memorial Day minute of silence, and encourage the residents of Aurora to pause for a minute of silence to honor, reflect, and remember the precious lives lost while in service of the nation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council, for this proclamation. It's a privilege to accept this on behalf of the Veterans Affairs Commission, and it is a huge honor to accept this on behalf of those who sacrificed their lives and the families of those who sacrificed their lives for this great nation. So I hope that everyone takes time on this day to, as the mayor said, in their own way, remember those people and their families for the sacrifices that they've made. And to reiterate what the mayor said as well, too, we have a great event on May 28th for the Colorado Freedom Memorial. I recommend you all come out, spread the word. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Please introduce yourself and branch of service.
Nathaniel Graff, United States Army.
Dwayne Davis, United States Army.
Greg Eccles, United States Army.
Robert Chase, United States Army.
Julie Hugan, United States Air Force.
Is that a branch of military service? No, I'm just kidding. I am really just kidding. I want to make it out of here alive. United States Army, United States Marine Corps. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Public invited to be heard.
Mayor, we have a few individuals in person. Missy Berglund, followed by Arnie Schultz.
My name is Missy Berglund. I'm an Aurora resident, and I was planning to come to speak about the youth violence prevention funding, and then this morning I saw Mr. Kaufman, you posting incendiary accusations against other members of the council. And I gotta say that I'm just very disappointed and frustrated that someone who has committed their life as a civil servant would choose to, instead of focusing on things that are happening in our community, such as the multiple shootings that happened this weekend, some involving our juveniles, knowing that the youth violence prevention program is on the agenda tonight, would, instead of focusing on that, choose to make accusations against other members of this council. You have spoken so far tonight, and I've heard you use the words honor, unite, justice, peace, wisdom, and health of the community. And when I see you take actions like that, it makes me question if you value those things or not. It disappoints me because the children in my community continue to be impacted by the violence, and yet you're focusing on things that are not creating safety in our community. And I wish you would do that. Mr. Twombly, I would like to thank you for whatever effort you committed and whatever you made happen in terms of getting us 400 rec passes for the Prairie Middle School event tomorrow. And other members of council who have responded to my phone calls and my requests for conversations, I would like to thank you for taking action to actually meet the needs of our young people in this community. Mr. Kaufman, I hope you do better.
Arnie Schultz, followed by Eric Schanholzer.
Mayor Kaufman, members of the City Council, my name is Arnie Schultz. I reside in Aurora, Colorado. 2 weeks ago, I sent you photos of the unhoused encampment at Mississippi and I-225, and I spoke from home at Public Invited to be Heard. I asked for someone to get back to me regarding how long belongings remain on the sidewalk after a site is swept. Nobody did that. So that's why I showed up tonight in person, because I want somebody to get back to me, please. And Mr. Twombly, and I know DCM Bachelor has my phone and email, and so does Katie. And then the site was swept again a few days later, after people had moved back in. And the belongings were put up on the sidewalk again. And they remained for only a day this time. And people are asking on Nextdoor, where did those belongings go? Where did the people that were swept go? Who put up the fence that's now at Mississippi and I-225? Does that belong to the city, or does that belong to CDOT? So again, I would like answers to those questions. And so would the people on Nextdoor. And then yesterday, I sent 2 emails regarding 2 articles in the Denver Post. One was regarding the Metro Task Force on car thefts, and I want to thank Councilmember Bergen, who's not here this evening, for getting back to me. She was the only non-Democrat to get back to me. And then I want to thank Councilmember Jurenski for getting back to me on housing. The Denver Post article mentioned that rents have gone up as much as $400 a month. People can't afford to live there anymore. And I want to thank Councilmember Jurenski for saying this needs to be a priority to provide housing for these people. Aurora Housing Authority is way backed up. Most of the people on their waiting list are disabled and or elderly. So please, let's take some action on this. And again, I'd like to know who's going to get back to me on my questions. Anybody? Jam? Mr. Twombly?
It's not really. If anybody wants to get back to you, they will certainly get back to you.
Well, it should.
It's not appropriate for them to respond in this form.
Well, please, if not, I'll be back next time. Thank you.
Eric Shanholzer, followed by Tanya Tabachek.
Sorry it takes so long. I can't sit in these chairs. You guys would be embarrassed to have these chairs up here. They hurt. But that's not why I'm coming up here. So I missed y'all last week. I know y'all missed me. Well, maybe not all of you. But I rise today to speak on a personal issue related to Aurora's level of customer service. I came to this building last week. I walked up to the East doors at 3:55 in the afternoon, and they were locked. It's 3:55 in the afternoon, not 3:55 in the morning. Never would I suspected that the city government would be closed in the middle of the afternoon. I'm not complaining about the doors being locked 5 minutes early. I'm complaining that the city shuts down at 4 o'clock. People work until 5. There's no way for people to come in and talk to their people who work for them when they have to work. They would have to take a whole day off to come in and see you all, or everybody here. We can see you all every other Monday. It seems that the people who run city government have forgotten that all government does is to assist its citizens. That's your job, the sole function of government. How is a government supposed to assist its citizens when it's only open when most of the citizens are at work? This means in order for a citizen, well, I already said that, never mind. I know many functions are available on websites and over the phone, but that's only if you know who you need to access and who you need to talk to. I came down with a physical item that I needed a building inspector to look at. I can't do that on the internet. I can't do that on the phone. I had to take extra time the next day to come in early. Luckily, I'm not confined to certain office hours, but most people are. So, because of that, I work a lot more than 7 hours in a day, like the employees in this building. So I'm going to go home and watch the Avs game, leave you guys here. So I conclude by this. Ours is a government of the people and by the people, but in Aurora, it seems it's not for the people. Thank you. See you guys in a couple weeks.
Tanya Tabachek.
Hello, good evening, council members, Mayor Kaufman, and council members as well. I just have one concern that had brought to my attention today. I was having a normal day when I was working and so forth, and then I saw this post about 2 council members going to Paris for a conference on taxpayers' money, which I don't know from the information. I know that one lady had said that that's an attack. But if it's not true, then newspapers and people on TV are supposed to research and gather information before they present it. And I'm pretty sure other people had heard before Mayor Kaufman when he had brought it up to attention of this Aurora citizens. There are many people that live in Aurora that do not have the capability to pay gas. They don't even have the ability to pay for rent, and so forth. I don't know what the true facts are, the information. I'm just going off of this new point that had come across saying that they had gone to Paris and so forth, and they could have gone through a conference or so forth. And I know that I'm upset. I'm not as upset as my mom. She's she speaks better than I do, but she's just concerned about this. And if there's information that will be provided on this conference to the city on why they went there. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mayor, that's the last individual.
The next item before us is item number 9, adoption of the agenda. Motion?
So moved.
I'm sorry. Who's it?
Marcano?
It's been moved by Councilmember Marcano, seconded by?
Zavonic.
Second by Councilmember Zavonic to adopt the agenda. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the agenda. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano,
Yes.
Councilmember Murillo. Oh. The motion passes unanimously to adopt the agenda.
Question before us now is adoption of the consent calendar, item 10A through 10I. Motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the entire consent calendar, 10A through 10I.
It's moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by?
Mayor, second.
Seconded by Councilmember Lawson to approve the consent calendar, item number 10A through 10I. Discussion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Jurenski.
I am just going to speak up every council meeting that all of these contracts that we're approving, millions and millions of dollars, all leave the city of Aurora, and I just continue to hope that city staff is making all efforts to find companies in Aurora to award these contracts to.
Councilmember Gardner.
I need to remove item 10G. I do not need a presentation, but I need to abstain on that item due to a financial conflict of interest.
Very well. Item number 10G is then removed, so the question before us is the adoption of item number 10A through 10F and 10H and 10I. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar as amended.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano,
Yes.
Councilmember Murillo. The item passed, the consent calendar without item 10G passes unanimously.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 10G?
Item 10G is consideration to award an openly solicited contract to Waste Management of Colorado, Denver, Colorado, and the not to exceed amount of $92,000 for the door-to-door hazardous waste pickup for the Aurora citizens through April 30th, 2023.
Motion on item number 10G.
Mayor, motion to approve item 10G.
Moved by Councilmember Zavonic, seconded by
Jurenski.
Councilmember Jurenski to approve item number 10G. Discussion? Seeing none, call. I'm sorry, Councilor.
Just want to state for the minutes, I'm going to abstain due to a financial conflict of interest.
Okay. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on item number 10G.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously with Councilmember Gardner abstaining to approve item 10G.
Item number 11A through 11E can be taken as a single item. Motion.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Motion to approve items 11A through 11E.
It's been moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg to approve item number 11A through 11E. Discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the approval of item number 11A through 11E.
Councilmember Marcano,
Yes.
Councilmembers. The motion passes unanimously to approve items 11A through 11E.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 11F?
Item 11F is Resolution 2022-99, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, expressing the Aurora City Council's approval of the IGA between Adams County, the cities of Aurora, Brighton, Commerce City, Federal Heights, North Glen, Thornton, Westminster, and Town of Bennett, and the City and County of Broomfield regarding coordinating homeless services.
Brief presentation by staff.
Testing? Okay. So this IGA is with Adams County for the purposes of coordinating services related to homelessness, both data, reporting and services in general. It also creates the opportunity to be able to leverage funds in regards to broader funding opportunities and overall coordination. There's no funding tied to this IGA. It is just kind of an overarching IGA to work together. We have ongoing monthly meetings between all the jurisdictions within Adams County as well as with the county. Happy to take any questions.
Questions of staff? I'm seeing none. Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
move to approve item 11F.
It's moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by
Zavonic.
Councilmember Zonic to approve item number 11F. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 11F. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Sundberg, we need your vote. The motion passes unanimously to approve Resolution 2022-99.
Will the clerk now please read the title to item number 11G?
Item 11G is Resolution 2022-100, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, adopting the Youth Violence Prevention Program 2022 Strategic Plan. And Mayor, we do have one individual in the public who would like to speak. Oh, I'm sorry. She says that she no longer wants to speak on the item.
Brief presentation by staff.
Hi, good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm here to present the strategic plan for the Youth Violence Prevention Program. This plan will serve as a guide for us to implement the strategies and objectives of our plan, and will also serve as a way for us to measure progress and success. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions of staff? Seeing none, a motion is in order. It's been moved by Councilmember Lawson, seconded by
Coombs.
Councilmember Coombs to approve item number 11G. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 11G.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve Resolution 2022-100.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 11H.
Item 11H is Resolution 2022-101, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, expressing the Aurora City Council support to create a business safety and security upgrade grant program.
Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening. So this is for some modifications to the Safety and Security Grant Program resolution. And at the May 16th study session, Council agreed to increase the individual program amounts or grant amounts for this safety and security grant from up to $10,000 to up to $20,000. And this was due to inflation and increased cost of materials. And then additionally, we are now at 325 applications being received. And we do have some vetting yet to do on those applications, but we are looking at increasing the grant program amount from $3 million for the entire program to $4.5 million. And that extra $1.5 million would come from the reserve that Council had set aside already.
Questions to staff? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Mayor.
Councilmember Gardner.
Motion to approve item 11H.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by
Jurenski.
Councilmember Jurenski to approve item number 11H. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 11H. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve Resolution 2022-101.
The time is now 7:04. Council will stand in recess until 7:09 in order for there to be an announcement for the call-in line. 5-minute break.
Members
Members of the public who would like to speak on an ordinance and have not already spoken to an operator, press star 3 before the item is called by the clerk. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 to be connected and then press star 3. Council is taking a short break to allow any additional speakers to sign up. Please be patient and stay on the line until the operator is able to take down your information.
Council, the regular meeting of the Aurora City Council for May 23rd, 2022 is called back to order. Will the clerk please read the title to item number 12A?
Item 12A is ordinance and public hearing of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, amending the comprehensive plan place type map from the city corridor place type to the emerging neighborhood place type for approximately 115 acres in the Skydance master plan.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and City and Council members. Before you tonight is a proposed comprehensive plan amendment for Skydance. The applicant, Westside Investment Partners, is requesting approval to change the site from the city corridor place type to the emerging neighborhood place type. The 115-acre parcel is bounded by Piccadilly Road to the west, 60th Avenue to the north, Tibet Road to the east, and 57th Avenue to the south. The property is owned MUA Mixed-Use Airport and is within the Skydance Master Plan, which was administratively approved on April 20th, 2022. So this is the current place type map. It is adjacent to the emerging neighborhood place type to the west, the urban district place type to the north, and the city corridor place type to the east and to the south. This is the proposed comprehensive plan map that shows the northern portion of the site as being within the emerging neighborhood place type and the southern portion remaining within the city corridor place type where commercial and mixed-use development is planned. The comprehensive plan amendment is proposed by the applicant because the proposed residential uses within the Skydance master plan are more consistent with the vision and supporting uses in the emerging neighborhood place type than the city corridor place type. This request is consistent with the approval criteria for the comprehensive plan and will allow a balanced mix of residential and commercial uses within the master plan. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions, and the applicant is also available for any questions and to make a brief statement.
Presentation by the applicant.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Marcus Pockner, 1480 Humboldt Street, Denver, Colorado. I am here tonight honored to speak on behalf of Westside, the proposed developer and owner of this site. As Sarah said, and I do want to acknowledge, this has been a remarkably collaborative process with city staff. This was concurrently filed with a master plan that was approved just over a month ago. I want to say, and I'm joined by Al Cunningham here from PCS Group, and he's our planner on the site, has been working on this for the last year, so we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. But the thing we wanted to stress is actually what you just saw there on the map, is that we are only doing this area kind of roughly at 57 North. The reason for that is, and we understand this very clearly, how important that commercial corridor is along 56th. We are keeping that. It will have mixed use, and I'm actually very, kind of to share with you, excited to share with you, we have had very strong interest in 56 for that commercial, that mixed use corridor. We are seeing a great deal of interest in that. What this allows us to do as we transition north is to have a more complete neighborhood, to continue those mix of uses, and to have some single family and parks to really make a complete neighborhood. So we have not encountered, we've met with a lot of the neighbors around us, Painted Prairie just to the west of us. This actually reflects their exact land plan as well, so we're really blending into that. So again, I'll be brief. We think this is very straightforward in that it brings forward a vision that the community has really been looking for, and a city has been looking for that commercial corridor along 56th, and we are protecting that and we'll be bringing that forward. So again, Mr. Mayor, we're here for any questions or comments that anyone may have. Thank you.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak?
No.
On this issue?
No.
There are not. Questions of staff or the applicant?
Mayor?
Councilmember Coombs.
Yeah, so in the letter that was submitted, it talks about the housing, being housing for people who are renters and want to become homeowners. So can you talk a little bit about attainable housing and what the plans are for attainable housing within this project?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Alan Cunningham with PCS Group, 200 Calumet Street, Denver. So the commercial that we talked about on 56th, there'll be mixed-use commercial in there, which has the ability to have multifamily residential included within it, as long as it's not standalone residential, so that it's truly mixed use. So in that regard, there'll be the ability for some apartments mixed within the community, and then as we transition, we're proposing single-family attached homes, so there'll be rows of townhomes, a couple blocks of them, as well as paired homes could come into the mix, and then transitioning into different single-family detached homes, so that there should be a range of different product types available residentially to try and address as many price points as we can and address that attainability.
Mayor, can I ask?
Please proceed.
Okay, and then with that mix of uses around this Central Park idea, can you talk a little bit about walkability and access to services for the homes that will be in this area?
Sure. We worked really hard with pros and planning to craft a plan that has not only a central neighborhood kind of north where the residential units are, but also having neighborhood parks in and amongst the mixed-use buildings. So where there's more density, there's also parks in there. So there'll be an open space trails and parks corridor that extends from 56th all the way up to 60th Ave, anticipating future development in the community park to the north, and it winds its way through the community. So within the community, it should be very walkable. People will be able to get down to the commercial on 56th and any of the mixed-use commercial. If there's restaurants or other things that develop there, they'll be able to jump into the park system and trails and access all of that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Further questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, thank you very much. Public hearing is closed. Motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Durinsky.
motion to approve item 12A.
It's been moved by Councilmember Durinsky, seconded by?
Sundberg.
Seconded by Councilmember Sundberg to approve item number 12B, I'm sorry, item number 12A. Discussion. Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of item number 12A. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve ordinance 2022-27.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12B.
Item 12B is public hearing consideration of an ordinance 2022-28 of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, rezoning a parcel of land measuring 56.8 acres, more or less, located on the east side of Powhatan Road and 1/2 mile south of Colfax Avenue, from medium-density residential district and mixed-use corridor district to mixed-use airport district, and amending the zoning map accordingly.
The public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors. My name is Asia Tibbs. I'm a planner for the Planning and Development Services Department. I'm presenting to you a rezoning request for 56.8 acre site. This property is located on the east side of Powhatan Road, approximately 1/2 mile south of Colfax, which runs along I-70 in this location. As you can see on the image before you, the subject site is located just south of an existing mobile home park known as Fox Ridge Mobile Home Park, and then touches the corner of Sky Ranch community. These are both located in Arapahoe County. The properties to the south and the west are currently vacant, but inside the city limits. Here's an image of the existing zoning as it stands. The property is majority zoned MUC, which stands for Mixed Use Corridor. There is a sliver of existing R2 medium density residential along the south side of the site as well. You can see on this map the Arapahoe County border. Everything that's kind of grayed out is not in the Aurora city limits. And then the yellow is R2 medium density residential. Across from the county properties, the annexed territories are zoned to MUA, Mixed Use Airport, which is consistent with the current zoning request to rezone this property to MUA. The applicant is requesting to rezone this property to MUA consistent with the proposed master plan that has been approved administratively. The request is to allow for commercial services along Powhatan Road, and then that will move into outdoor storage uses as you move east on the site. The property is bordered or buffered between the residential site to the north with the City of Aurora Prairie Waters Treatment Facility, and then there's also a oil and gas site, pad site, located along the south side of the MUA zone. The emerging neighborhood place type is the designation for the comprehensive plan on this site. The MUA is consistent with being able to provide commercial and retail services to support the residential area in that neighborhood. That is all I have. If there are any questions, I'm available, and the applicant is present as well, but does not have a presentation. Thank you.
So there's no presentation by the applicant?
No,
Do I
but they're
understand
here
that?
for questions.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this?
No.
Very well. Questions of staff or the applicant?
Mayor?
Councilmember Coombs.
Yes, can you just comment on any setbacks from the oil and gas operations that are adjacent to this site and any residential that is proposed, what the proximity of that residential would be to the oil and gas?
So I can speak that the master plan does not have any residential proposed. The oil and gas site, as we move into site plans, will have to meet any required setbacks for that area. At this point, we've just done master plans, so we haven't quite got into that yet.
All right, thank you.
Further questions to staff or the applicant? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Motion is in order.
Mayor, I motion to approve item 12B.
Been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Jurenski.
Councilmember Jurenski to approve item number 12B. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 12B. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve ordinance 2022-28.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 13A.
Item 13A is Resolution 2022-102, a public hearing and resolution of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, approving the First Amendment to the Service Plan for Buckley Metropolitan Districts number 1 through 4.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening. Jacob Cox, Manager of Development Assistance. The service plan for Buckley Metropolitan District numbers 1 through 4 was approved by City Council in November of 2019. The district is located at southeast corner of 6th Avenue and Piccadilly Road. Buckley Metropolitan Districts 1 through 4 is requesting that City Council adopt a resolution amending the current service plan in order to increase the total area of the inclusion area boundaries. This is in order to incorporate properties planned to be acquired by the developer on the eastern portion of the property within the district. The area to be added to the inclusion area is located to the east of Valdai Street, as shown in your backup materials. There's a vicinity map and a letter from 470, the current landowner of that property. I believe we have a district rep on the line if there are any other questions. No specific presentation by them, though.
No presentation by, there's a presentation by the applicant?
No.
There's no presentation by the applicant. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this issue?
No.
Seeing none, public hearing now closed. Motion is in order.
Mayor, I motion to approve item 13A.
Moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Jurenski.
Councilmember Jurenski to approve item number 13A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 13A. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve Resolution 2022-102.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 14A.
Item 14A is introduction of ordinance 2022-29, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, amending sections 50-72 of the City Code pertaining to the terms of municipal court judges.
A brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Angela Garcia. I'm with the City Attorney's Office. This is an ordinance amendment to cure a conflict between Article 10.4B of the City Charter and City Code 5072A. Right now, the terms of office for full-time judges is 4 years. The terms of office for part-time judges as well as relief judges is 2 years. In the City Code, it does have the words of even numbered, and those are the words that are creating the conflict between the City Charter and the City Code. Therefore, this amendment is to remove even numbered so that a judge's term will end at the end of the year, December 31st of the appropriate year.
Very well. Questions of staff? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Mayor.
Councilmember Jurenski.
Motion to approve item 14A.
Was it Councilmember Marcano or Gardner?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Councilmember Gardner? All right. Marcano, Councilmember Marcano.
Yes.
It's been moved by Councilmember Drensky, seconded by Councilmember Marcano to approve item number 14A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 14A. Call of the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve ordinance 2022-29.
Will clerk now please read the title to item number 14B?
Item 14B is introduction of ordinance 2022-30, an ordinance authorizing the use of lease purchase financing to acquire certain equipment during the 2022 fiscal year pursuant to the terms of an equipment lease purchase agreement by and between the Aurora Capital Leasing Corporation as leaser and the City of Aurora, Colorado as leasee, authorizing officials of the city to take all action necessary to carry out the transactions completed hereby, and other related matters.
Brief presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I am Teresa Sedmak, your City Treasurer, and I'm here to introduce the ordinance authorizing the financing of heavy fleet vehicles for 2022. The ordinance authorizes the city to acquire heavy fleet vehicles through lease purchase financing. There are a total of 13 vehicles that we're looking at financing. There are 4 dump trucks, a patch truck, a backhoe, and a sweeper for public works, 6 vehicles for fire, including 1 aerial truck, 2 brush trucks, 1 hazmat vehicle, an air light vehicle, and 1 tender, and those all will have required equipment with them, 2 Bearcat vehicles for police, and 1 dump truck for pros. The ordinance provides for a maximum of $10 million par to borrow and a maximum borrowing rate of 5%. It's currently anticipated that will be in the range of 3 and 3.5%, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have in this regard.
Questions to staff? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Mayor, I apologize. I have a question.
Councilmember Murillo.
Yes, I believe this came through management and finance not too long ago, and I had asked a question about to get more information on the Bearcat vehicles and kind of what the intended purpose are for that piece of equipment.
There's a representative of police that will be able to answer that question for you.
Good evening, Council. I'm joined here by Lieutenant Scott Pendleton, who's the SWAT commander for the police department. So the acquisition of the 2 Lenco Bearcats, the purpose behind those is unfortunately our officers have to face some dangerous situations. We ask them to go in harm's way in order to protect the community. These vehicles are basically an armored vehicle platform. The easiest way to think about it is it's like a bank truck. So it offers ballistic protection to whoever's inside. It's a defensive type of vehicle, so it only offers protection. It's not meant to have any offensive capabilities on that vehicle, but it's used for defensive. So whoever's inside is protected from small arms fire all the way up to high-powered rifles. We've deployed, we currently have a Lenco Bear, which is a larger version of the Bearcat. That vehicle is getting to its end of its useful life. So we want to go with a smaller platform that's more maneuverable. Utilizing 2 of those will allow us to be able to handle 2 separate incidents at the same time, where we're dealing with an individual who may be armed with high-powered weapons or firearms. We can also use one in order to safely resolve the situation, while we use another one to remove citizens from that dangerous area. Because it offers that protection, we can pull it up to a location, get citizens out of the danger zone, into this vehicle, and out of the area. We've also used them during snow emergencies because they're very capable. They're not a military vehicle. This is a domestic producer of armored vehicles for law enforcement. We think it would be very beneficial to our officers and to the community to have this protection, because one of the requirements under the new state law is that we de-escalate situations. So you need time, distance, and cover. Having this available to us, we're able to position ourselves where we can take time with the situation, slow the situation down. Obviously, there are some situations where we have to react in a hostage situation or something like that, but a lot of what SWAT deals with and our patrol officers deal with is somebody who may be alone in a building, who may be firing rounds out into the community. So we can position this vehicle to protect the community. It gives us time to negotiate with that individual. It creates distance between us and that individual, and it provides us a level of cover so our officers in the community are safe. So I'll open it up for any questions, or if you have questions, Lieutenant.
Questions of APD?
Mayor.
Councilmember McConnell.
Thank you, sir. And thank you so much for that synopsis. I do have a question with regards to snow removal, or sorry, snow rescue operations. I've heard in the past from AFR that the Bearcats, while yes, they do perform fairly well in that weather, they are not necessarily the best vehicle. And I was just wondering, is there something that y'all would recommend that would be better for that purpose that might be shared between you and AFR?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of getting some smaller, almost like Polaris-type vehicles. But those will typically get into areas that are very difficult. They'll have tracks on them. So what we can do is utilize these Bearcats, or the Bear if we still have it, or the MRAP, which we still have, and position those in areas where we can get easy access to. And if we get people out of those areas with these smaller vehicles, we can get them inside the warm larger vehicles where we can seat several, people depending on the size of the vehicle, and then transport them to either, off-site location, a hotel, or someplace that we designated that's a warm zone where the Salvation Army can have resources for them and stuff. So yes, you are correct. It's not the best platform for snow operations, but we found it to be effective, and we can use it in limited capacity.
Further questions of staff? Seeing none, motion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Jaworski.
motion to approve item 14B.
Moved by Councilmember Jaworski, seconded by
Sundberg.
Councilmember Sundberg to approve item number 14B. Discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 14B. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve ordinance 2022-30.
Since item numbers 15A and 15B were both passed unanimously, we can take them together as we would in the event of a consent calendar. Motion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Gardner.
motion to approve items 15A and B.
Moved by Councilmember Gardner, seconded by?
Coombs.
Seconded by Councilmember Coombs to approve item number 15A and 15B. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 15A and 15B. Call for the question.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
And Councilmember Zavonic?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve ordinances 2022-25 and ordinance 2022-26.
Item number 19A, consideration to appoint one member and reappoint one member to the Metro Water Recovery District Board. Motion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
move to reappoint Bob Laguerre and appoint James D. Herrera to the Metro Water Recovery Board.
Moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by?
Medina.
Seconded by Councilmember Lawson to approve item number 19A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 19A. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve item 19A.
Item number 19B, consideration to appoint 4 members and reappoint 1 member to the Golf Course Advisory Board. Motion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Medina.
19B.
I'm sorry?
Said motion to approve 19B.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Medina, seconded by?
Second, but do we have to say the names or?
Yes, it would be preferable if we had the names on record.
Councilmember Medina, do you have the name of the individual?
Yes. Sorry about the Mayor. To appoint Shannon Carruthers, John Lickner, Pete Schlickenman, and Wes Severin.
Okay.
And reappoint Jesse Stein.
Been moved by Councilmember Medina and seconded by Councilmember Coombs to approve item number 19B. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 19B. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman
Mayor votes yes.
and Councilmember Marcano.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve item 19B.
Item number 19C, consideration to appoint 2 members to the library board. Motion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Marcano.
Thank you, sir. Move to to appoint Jessica Gagnon and Patrick Wagner to the library board.
Moved by Councilmember Marcano, seconded by Councilmember Coombs to approve item number 19C. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 19C. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano,
Yes.
Councilmember. The motion passes unanimously to approve item 19C.
Item number 19D, consideration to appoint 1 member to the Veterans Affairs Commission.
Mayor,
Councilmember Coombs.
move to appoint Amy Hawthorne to the Veterans Affairs Commission.
Moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by?
Medina.
Seconded by Councilmember Medina to approve item number 19D. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of item number 19D. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Marcano.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously to approve item 19D.
Mayor has no report. Councilmember Lawson.
Mayor, I just have one report tonight because a lot of my committee meetings are this month, in the month of June, I'm sorry. So for the Pfizer committee report, the legislative session concluded on May 11th. Our state lobbyist presented the end of the session report at the May 20th Pfizer committee. Representative Crow listed both of our earmark requests on his website, which is required step of moving the projects forward. He was allowed to submit 15 requests in total, including both of the city's requests is a positive sign. The House plans to mark up their bill in early June. The Senate will mark up their bill later in June. Several funding opportunities from the bipartisan infrastructure law are coming in the next several weeks. Staff is watching as these funding announcements are released and for opportunities to apply for funding to support critical projects in Aurora. So that's all I have for my report tonight. Thank you.
Councilmember Gardner. Thank you.
No.
No report. Councilmember Zvonek.
No report.
Councilmember Jurenski.
Yeah, I would like to report that Aurora will be having its very first annual Aurora First Responders celebration. There will be a flyer coming out soon. This is being put on by the Public Safety Committee. We will be honoring police, fire, and 911 dispatchers in the city of Aurora. This is a kid-friendly family event. We will have food trucks, ice cream trucks, live music, all kinds of stuff going on. This is going to be Saturday, July 16th from noon to 4 p.m. Right here outside of City Hall on the AMC lawn, and this is a free event.
Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. I wanted to announce my town hall for the month of May, Thursday, May 26th at 6 p.m. We're going to be at the MLK Library off of Colfax. This is also going to be our budget town hall meeting. So every year before we approve our budget, we have our city staff come talk to residents about that process, what, kind of where we're allocating dollars. So be sure to come join for that discussion as well. And then I guess last, I wanted to I guess just share a few comments about Mayor Kaufman's tweets. He makes a lot of those. um, and about my attendance at the International Making Cities Livable conference. Um, been very excited to have had the opportunity to attend the conference. There's been a lot of great concepts that I think other communities have implemented that I'm really excited to see if we can implement here in Aurora. It was, I think, so eye-opening to see that the city where it was hosted. I won't. I'm gonna butcher the name, so I won't even try to pronounce it in French, but it was a community of about only 30,000 people, a suburb of Paris, and basically they were able to achieve with such, you know, let's say, we're approaching 400,000 people, roughly a tenth of the population of Aurora. They were able to accomplish some really awesome things when it comes to building density and creating access to different restaurants, different public venues. The public transit was really awesome. The walkability of the community was really great. Um, they had medians where instead of just like a non-functional median, with planters and grass like we usually do here in Aurora, they actually had like a walkway, like a sidewalk in the middle of the street, which I thought was really cool. And some of these ideas I think are kind of in line with I think hopefully the direction we want to go, and when it comes to creating the most livable city, creating access and amenities to our residents in Aurora. I guess I kind of think of that as a case study for our different wards. If it's roughly, um, I mean, our wards are about double the size of the city, but if they're able to accomplish all of these like more modern and updated kind of planning and design concepts that make their city so livable, and they had different incomes that were included in the redevelopment of their area, and it was really transformative to see a project like that. So I'm looking forward to sharing kind of the topics that I learned at that conference. Um, at the Ward Town Hall, I know Councilmember Marcano and I would like to do a joint presentation at some point. I think details to be determined, but was really excited to have that opportunity. Aurora is one of the few cities in the country that actually has an Office of Immigrant Affairs and has a immigrant integration plan. And so to be able to connect and build relationships with another community internationally, I think is in our best interest as a city. We were also able to meet with council members from a different suburb and kind of learn about the way that they do business in their communities, which again was a really invaluable experience. We also met with the Paris Chamber of Commerce. And let me tell you, we were doing our very best to position Aurora, our emerging, biotech campus on the Anschutz Medical Campus, our um, developments, just having our military in Aurora, the air and spaceport nearby. We're really trying to position the city of Aurora for additional business for them to communicate with their businesses about what the opportunity looks like in Aurora. I'm looking forward to connecting with our staff to figure out, what other information might be relevant and helpful to include as we try to attract more business and industry to Aurora. So I think it was a really successful trip in terms of advocating for Aurora's needs, learning about best practices in other communities, and I'm excited to kind of bring that back and share and see what we might be able to implement here locally. Thanks.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thank you, Mayor. This last Thursday, I had my town hall on panel discussion, pros and cons of metro districts. Councilmember Jurinsky helped me facilitate that. I began the meeting with my very best Michael Buffer impression of "Let's get ready to rumble," and indeed we did. There were about 50 people there. Not the most interesting topic for most people until they realize their taxes are too high. But we had a great panel representing bond underwriter, Metro District attorney on the pro side who helps design and create Metro Districts. We had the litigation side against Metro Districts, and we had a Cross Creek president of a Metro District. So it just all came together to produce a great perspective on Metro Districts, I think. You know, at one point I thought a chair was going to fly across the room from Brian Matisse, but you know, and I had Councilmember Jurinsky on my back to bounce people out of there if need be. But overall, it was educational, it was insightful. Each side argued with the other, you know, about their facts. So that was a success. I continue to meet with developers, residents, industry in Ward 2 with the exciting growth taking place there.
Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Mayor. All I have is my town hall will be June 1st, a week from this Wednesday at 6:30, where we'll have code enforcement, talk a little bit about the issues that my community's been having around some of the code enforcement there. So that'll be at the Active Adult Center at 6:30. Thank you.
Councilmember McConnell.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start by thanking Missy for advocating for students of Prairie Middle School and to City Manager Twombly for approving the additional 400 tickets that she had the parents actually of Prairie Middle School had requested. I think us showing as much support as possible to our youth, especially when we're heading into summer, is really critical. And I think it shows that we're serious about doing what we can to ensure that our youth are feeling supported and to keep them safe during the summer. I'm also excited to announce that the APD Family Safety Check events are set to kick off at the end of June. So these are the events that are going to feature steering wheel locks, gun locks, drug disposal bags, and bike and car seat checks. And staff is also working to include a catalytic converter theft prevention system into the available resources at the events. And I'll give you more details on that last one as soon as they become available. But this is part of what I've been working with APD on over the last couple of weeks, really about a month at this point, to put together material resources to deter motor vehicle thefts in our city. As we know, that's a huge problem. And, I think the steering wheel locks, or as we might know them, clubs, are still by far one of the most effective ways to ensure that your vehicle does not get stolen. So really excited to have this kick off. I believe the first one's going to be at the Salvation Army facility near Delmar Park on the 25th. If anything changes, I'll be sure to let you know. Our next Ward 4 meeting is going to be on Thursday, June 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Colorado Early Colleges. We're going to be discussing crime. What it does, what does it take to have charges filed, what burden of proof needs to be met beforehand, and what your rights are as a victim. We're going to be joined by Officer Crump from APD, and as well as Vicky Klingensmith, sorry if I mispronounced that, Vicky, from JD18 for this discussion. This stemmed from a ward meeting a couple of months ago where one of our neighbors, asked, why was it that APD could not investigate her assault case? That led into a pretty deep conversation with Officer Crump. So if any of you are curious as to what it takes for something to become, to be eligible to be investigated, when does hearsay become evidence, etc., this is a ward meeting that you do not want to miss. So that is, again, 6:30 p.m. at Colorado Early Colleges on Thursday, June 9th. And then lastly, I do want to mention that, yes, I also had the opportunity to attend the International Making Cities Livable 2022 conference, which was in Le Plessis-Robinson in France. This is part of the conference series that we attended last year in Carmel, Indiana. There's been a lot of hearsay and frankly just lies about what this is and who paid for it. So I'm going to be hosting a meeting on Wednesday, June 1st at 6:30. So we're going to share what we learned from this conference, recap the conversations that we have at the city of Courbevoie, which is another suburb of Paris. We had a really great conversation with their council members and city staff. And then also recap some of what we discussed with the Paris Regional Chamber of Commerce's Director General. So we're hoping to have this either in the council chambers or in the Aurora room. Again on the 1st at 6:30 p.m. And I really hope to see all of y'all there and bring all of your questions, comments, or concerns to that meeting as well. And with that, I hope y'all have a great night.
Councilmember Coombs.
Thank you, Mayor. We had our 2 Ward 5 town halls in the month of May because we had our quarterly Saturday town hall in addition to our regular Tuesday town hall. The Tuesday town hall was on the budget, and we had some really thoughtful discussion on what it would take to fund our housing plan, issues associated with trash, where our marijuana funds go. So I really appreciate the residents who came and brought their questions, comments, and concerns. And then our Saturday meeting was actually about Mission Viejo and the history of Mission Viejo, which was recently received an historic designation for its 50th anniversary. And it was very interesting to learn from kind of the resident historian about how Mission Viejo was formed, what its connection is to the city of Mission Viejo in California, and a lot of different opportunities that we may have if that area becomes designated as an historic district to preserve and repair a lot of things that are in disrepair right now within Mission Viejo from the original architecture. There are several walls and other items that basically are not able to be maintained in their original condition, and historic designation can assist with that. So it was really a good learning experience for me from that neighbor about how these things work. And we also had a really good conversation about what it's going to look like in Ward 5, where we have a lot of areas that are now mixed use, that are shopping centers. When housing is starting to come into those shopping centers, how do we preserve the character of neighborhoods, preserve the history of neighborhoods, and also be able to build in some of the density that comes with the change and growth with who we are as a city now compared to who we were 50 years ago, 40 and 50 years ago when those areas were built. So I really also appreciate those who came out for that discussion. And then I have some news from Visit Aurora, which is that they received the Smart Meetings Magazine Best Visitors Bureau or Destination Marketing Organization category in advertising. And they also received the Member of the Year Award from the Convention Management Association Rocky Mountain chapter. And that is my report. Thank you.
Seeing no further business before the Aurora City Council, this meeting is adjourned.